welcome to the JB Doula podcast. I'm Jessica Brown, a certified birth and postpartum doula serving families in southwestern Pennsylvania, and here we talk about all things birth work, womanhood, and the childbearing years, and plenty still applies to our other parenting journeys such as dads, trans, and non-binary friends. And this episode, we talk about partners and doulas. Do they make a perfect team? I'm pretty sure they do. So let's get into it and kind of see how partners and doulas work together to make that perfect team for a birth team. So first off, a really common misconception is partners feeling like if there's a doula at the birth that they won't have anything to do. That'd be like, they'll be extraneous. Like, why am I here if there's a doula? Like, it's like the doula's taking their job, and that they won't be needed. And that's not true at all. First and foremost, that's absolutely false, because it's you as a partner with this birthing person. This is like your partner that you're making a baby with, that you're having a baby with. You have something with them that a doula could never manufacture or create in such a short amount of time during the prenatals. And that's just this extensive personal knowledge from being, knowing them for years or being in a relationship with them. This just overwhelming love and this personal intimacy. Like, it's a really intimate thing to be having a baby and growing a family together. And you know so much about them that I could never possibly understand in such a short amount of time. Like, you have so much in that way of just like, them. And love, honestly, like I care deeply for my clients and I love birth and I love being with them, but it's different. Like, I'm not as emotionally enmeshed in it. That's part of, like with the last episode with mediation and time, why doulas are so good at what they do with being a mediator and, getting extra time for a client. It's by not being as super emotionally enmeshed, and they're not entrenched in this, and they can be a little separate and a little bit more level and grounded, so that way you and your partner can feel these big emotions and go through all of this big transition of birth together, where she's more of just like this touchstone in this rock that you can come to when you need to keep you grounded. So that's why, like, what a partner brings at their core is something that a doula doesn't bring and doesn't try to. This isn't what we're designed for. Like, we weren't trained to do that. We're not here to replace anybody. Like, we want to be more of a buttress, a support, to fill in gaps and to find what needs a little extra attention, and a gentle guide and a mediator and someone who holds space and respects you and your choices and your own birthing space. So when you put into this context at the foundation, like, we're not opposed. We're not fighting over the same job, so to speak, or the same role. You have a very specific and important role that I am not seeking to fulfill and wouldn't be able to. Like, that's your superpower. Where mine was mediation and time as my superpower, yours is just this in-depth personal knowledge, love, and intimacy. That's yours, and I will never take that away from you. So when we build on that, like, that part's covered. But we're in this really weird, curious, and kind of awesome time where partners are expected to go with you to childbirth education classes to learn about labor and some coping techniques and things like that, and just all the nitty-gritty of birth. They're expected to be a part of this now, and they're expected to be with you in the birth room instead of tearing up the carpet, chain smoking, in the waiting room. And then all of a sudden they have a son or a daughter, and it's like, oh wow, no, I'm actually here. I watched you go from just like this like kind of like slow build up, kind of laughing, talking of early labor, and I watched it get more intense, and I watched how you rolled with it and you moved with it, and just being able to witness just how awesome birth is and how awesome their partner is to be birthing. Because a lot of partners can get surprised with just the sheer amount of just capability their partner has to birth. It surprises the birthing person too a lot of the times, but especially for partners who maybe you're prone to like being a little dramatic when you're in pain or when you're sick. But then you you just surrender to like the feelings and the experiences of birth, and you go with each surge or each contraction, and you're just like, I've got this one, and now I've got this one, and then the next thing you know, like, you're having a baby, and you're not overwhelmed with pain, you're not afraid, you're not scared and tight. And so it just like opens your eyes as well as your partner's to just like, wow, you are incredible and you are capable. So to kind of leave that space for him or them to like feel that, a doula kind of does like behind the scenes stuff. If maybe they're feeling like really caught up in the emotions of watching their partner birth and like really connected with each contraction, like maybe they're leaning on you on each contraction, so you're just like, you're with them, you're breathing with them, you're starting to pick up the signs when they're about to have a contraction, so you move in the position that she's or they've been wanting you to be in. And while you're focused on that, the doula's like kind of behind the scenes supporting both of you. Like maybe I'll like put pressure on her back and like rub their back and stuff while they lean on you to kind of give some extra support and pain relief. And I'll make sure to bring like the bottles of water closer, so that way as soon as that contraction is done, like they get a drink and now you get a drink. And I'm like, here's the chair as well, so you can sit between each contraction so you can rest, because we need you as well as your birthing person to be able to like have the energy and the stamina to like go through all this birth, because it's hard. And it's, I think, especially hard on partners because you don't have all these hormones rushing through. You're not feeling each contraction. You're just watching your partner move through this thing. Maybe they're struggling, maybe they're in pain, or maybe they're just tired. And you're just watching this consume all of their attention and focus. And you're trying to like be like stand vigil with them and be with them the whole time, but it's just like maybe you worked the whole day and didn't get to sleep through the night before you had to go to your birth location to work on labor and trying to be present and attentive the whole time. And I think it's really admirable. It's an awesome goal, and I really hope you're able to do it. But if you can't, it's okay too. That's kind of like this clutch with the doula being there. It's like it's okay. I just had tea or coffee or maybe like that backup 5-hour energy, like I'll be okay. Like maybe you take a nap or you get some coffee or just like rest for a little bit. Like I'll be here with them while they go through their contractions. Like they won't be alone and they'll have support. And especially if you're able to nap like nearby, like at least then like they can see you and stuff and still like feel connected. But trying to tend to your needs and make sure those are taken care of. Like we don't want you busting for the bathroom. Like you should be able to go and not feel guilty to like leave the room and take care of yourself. So that way you're able to stay present with them the whole time and not getting really uncomfortable or like in your own like physical misery. That's different from contractions and stuff, because you're trying to be present and like hold vigil and witness and like support with your person. So the doula kind of fills in there where it's like, no, like you go, like maybe, we've been here for several hours. It's about that time to get food, and like the cafeteria closes soon. You should definitely get food for you and maybe food for your partner too, to have some to like kind of re-energize for this next like leg of labor. And like I'll stay here with them and we'll work on some of this stuff, and then we'll catch you up when anything different happens. But like, so she just got checked. She probably shouldn't need anything for a little bit. We'll just keep doing this. And we'll see you soon. Kind of like removing that guilt and that like fear of like, what if the baby comes? It's like, that last check, still at 6 centimeters. I think it's gonna be I think you have time to get food. It's gonna be okay. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I'm like getting all excited about it too, because it is like intense and there's so many things happening, and trying to make sure everyone is taken care of. That's kind of what the doula is there for, because there's different levels of involvement too. Not every partner is super comfortable with birth, even if they went to the childbirth classes with you. It's just sometimes they're not, and it's overwhelming, and there's a lot of feelings, and it's like seeing their partner in pain when they can't fix it, because a lot of partners are doers. They want to fix the problem, and something that they can't fix. Time is what fixes it. Letting birth move at its own pace. When baby is ready and your body is ready, like, you'll have a baby. And that can be really hard for a lot of partners. And some are really anxious and uncertain, and this whole thing is just like a lot of stuff. It's just a lot of stuff they don't quite know a lot about, because this is years of study to be this like well versed in birth and like all the aspects of normal and all of these things. So it's a lot of pressure. It would be to like be on top of this, to be the birth coach, to know all this stuff, and to also be present for your partner, reassure them, take care of their emotions and their physical needs, and then also your needs and your emotional needs as well, because it's like you are having a baby too. It's not just your partner. It's a whole family is being born here. So that's kind of what the doula does as support for a partner, because it's like, no, I don't need anything. It's just for my X, Y, or Z, my partner, my this and that. And it's just like, no, it's you too. You're a part of this. You're a part of the birth team, and you're really important to the birthing person. So we want you to be taken care of. We don't want her worrying about you. We want everyone to be able to experience this like rite of passage, because it is like parents being born on both sides, especially if it's your first, and if you're having multiple, this is like your fourth or fifth, like it's still like your family is growing, and each birth is just like magical and unique, you know. It's not just another day, it's not just another procedure. This is your family growing. So, excuse me, knocking things over. And for those who are like more anxious and uncertain how to be involved, that's kind of where a doula will be like gentle suggestion of like, why don't you rub her back here, or here, I showed you how to do a double hip squeeze with me last time at our last prenatal. Let's do that together, and it'll save both of our arms. I think it'll really, really help their back feel better. And if it's not quite that comfortable level, like, how about you come closer and look into their eyes, and like, can you touch her hair, or like just put her hand on her shoulder and just be with her, and like, I'll take care of the back pain for now. Or it's like, I think she could really use a drink, like, could you go get her favorite juice? Like, finding things that partner can do, because sometimes action or a task or even just like gentle guidance helps override a lot of that like paralyzing fear and anxiety of uncertainty. So having just that little nudge here and there for what you could do. And for the partner who is like all about it and wants to be hands-on and is super excited and is just like really like wants to be in the emotional trenches and be there, that's awesome, because then it's just like a well-oiled machine of just like, all right, you do this, like she'll lean on you and I'll get her back while she has a contraction, and then afterwards I'll back off and you guys can like slow dance, or you can hug and kiss, and I'll like give you some space without having to say it either. I just back off and just like, and let you respect that moment. So doing that, or being like the suggestion of like, yeah, definitely like put your hand there on the back, or this in the leg, like definitely just like touch all over as much as you can, and just really trying to encourage that and backing off, because like if he's got it, like let that partner go, let him go to town. Just like, yes, I know she likes her scalp being touched, I know her hair played with, I know exactly what my partner likes and what comforts her, and I'm going to talk about all these awesome things that make her feel better, and just like doing that. And then if it needs like redirected gently, easy enough to do, because they're really receptive, they want to be helpful. And they also will need a break sometimes too, but that's kind of like what this doula is for. It's not to replace the partner, and it's not to fulfill a specific role every time, because every birth is unique, every person is unique in how they birth. And even if it's your third baby, like this could be completely different from your first two births. It just depends. And having that doula as like this adaptable, changeable like aspect, this variable, and not in a like flaky, hectic kind of way, in just a meeting you and your partner where you're at and flowing with you and filling in the gaps of what needs extra support. Or maybe it is that you've just been really on it and really supportive and everything, but you've just like completely forgotten to eat, and you've forgotten to drink your water, and it's been several hours and you haven't gone to the bathroom either. I'm just like, do you need a break? Or would you like a break? Or did you want to get a drink? Not to be like, you need to do this. We're just like gentle reminders of like, let's take care of you too. So that way you can keep doing what you're doing. And then for the more anxious partner, sometimes just watching someone like the doula do what she does, the doula, Bila, can kind of give them like confidence, because it's like sometimes people are more visual learners, and like seeing like, oh, that what she did like makes a huge difference for my partner when they're going through the contractions. Like maybe I'll try that, or I'll like kind of get closer, because it's meeting each partner where they're at, because not everyone is super involved. Some are just having a hard time with like the big feelings and dynamic aspect of labor, and it takes a little bit to settle in, but it's being a support to them and a touchstone, and reassures them too that their partner is taken care of while they birth, even while it might take them a little longer to get more comfortable, to be more involved and closer. And when they are, it's to welcome them in, and if they need a little extra support or guidance, to give it to them in a non-judgmental way, because it's a puzzle. It's like you have to kind of figure out what works for each birth and for each client. So I think that really kind of explains and like justifies in a way that no, a doula isn't an opposition to the partner. Like they can be a perfect birth team. You have this cornerstone of the partner who has intimate knowledge and love and caring and history with the birthing person, and then you have the doula who is an expert in normal births, quote unquote normal, and all of this like information and knowledge and just like technique and all of this stuff, and non-judgmental in their support and all of these things, and is just ready to like meet you where you're at and mold to what needs to be done and what works best for you. Because it's variable, it really is. But having these like two people who do such different things, it can be an awesome complement to each other. I can't replace love and personal history. Like I care deeply, and I love working with my clients, but I don't have that history like you do. So I really want to encourage that and support that, and do these other things and be a resource for you if you need it. And if you are like super hyped to be that birth coach for your partner, to support that. And if I'm noticing with your partner, like maybe this technique is working, but the chattering like encouragements no longer like are relaxing her, to just help recognize when there's a shift, to help guide you to like, all right, I think it looks like she's kind of like coming in during each contraction. I think she wants less like distraction. Maybe slow down the strokes on her arms and her legs, and maybe only like talk to her between contractions. It looks like she's focusing a lot during them right now, and sometimes talking can pull her out of it. Can we try that for a few? That kind of thing. Because it is like, yes, you maybe like went to the birth classes and are super excited and practice things with your partner and are doing really well during early labor, but when you get closer to like that more like heavy active labor, or the transition even, like things change through labor. The things you did at the beginning don't always work in the middle or the end, or they might come back and work again later. So it's having someone who is experienced in just these variations and kind of reading the cues of the birthing person, just to help, like if you need it, to help guide you to like that transition point for each like change. I don't know, I just like it so much. It's like, I think it's so dynamic having like a doula and a partner that are able to work well together, because it is just like, once you have that reassurance that like, no, I'm not taking your job, like this is your partner, this is your family, I'm here to just support, I'm not here to take over, I'm just like gentle guide here, there, if you need it. And if not, I'll be here if you do need something. And in the meantime, I'll make sure you guys have like food, drink, ice, get more pillows, all that stuff. I'll just do this background stuff, you know? I'm not the center stage. This isn't about me. It's about you guys and supporting you guys and helping you have the birth that you want. So yeah, I think partners and doulas are a perfect team. I think when you have both of those that are just like in sync and on the same page and wavelength with the birthing person, that it's just like chef kiss, this like trifecta. So yeah. If you have any questions, or if you're a partner who is still like a little unsure if you'd want to have a doula, or if you feel like they might step on your toes, like definitely like leave a comment or something and maybe we could talk about it. Because again, like not every doula is right for every couple or every birthing person. It's the same adage of just not everyone's gonna like you, and it's the same for doulas. Like not everyone's gonna mesh with a doula or that particular doula. It might be that the one that you've been talking to just isn't a good fit, and just try talking to a few others. If you have like an actual concern of just like, well, this one did this, like that might be an outlier. Because again, like I'm trained and certified through Doula International, so we have a different scope of practice and ethics than some other organizations. Like it's not just a one size fits all. There's a lot of different ways to become a doula, and there's a lot of different types of doulas. So yeah. And if you're a birthing person, like, do you think this would help your partner to hear this? Did this reassure them at all? I hope it would. I hope the general vibe is that it's like we're on the same team and let's work together. Because I want you guys to have like the best birth possible. So anyways, the next episode is going to be on how a doula is an expert in quote unquote normal, and then how that builds off to allow this flexibility of support emotionally and physically. So we kind of like alluded to it here, and how that expert in normal helps with supporting the partners to reassure, like, yes, what's happening right now is totally normal. Like, you guys are both doing great. Just keep doing what you're doing. But how it kind of like frees up the doula as well to have that reassurance, to then be able to focus on the emotional and physical needs of the birthing person, and even the partner if they need them to. So yeah, until then, if you'd like to share this with someone who might appreciate it, or like and subscribe if you enjoy what you're hearing and want to hear more. And you can reach out if you are a birthing person who has had a birth story, or a partner who's had a birth story. I'd like to start doing interviews in September for birth stories, as well as with providers for families during the childbearing years. So whether that's chiropractic, massage, nurses, midwives, OBs, just like this broad range of just people who are servicing families, start doing just open, honest discussions and collaboration of how to make a better maternity model of care. So yeah, and until then, you can check out the linktree/JB Doula to find all of my links to vlog, podcast, the YouTube channel if you want to watch it, and Instagram and Facebook. And also the website if you want to leave an inquiry for services or to do an interview. All right, until then, happy birthing.